Hello everyone and welcome to Moonride, where we're channeling the man in the moon. Today I'm going to just sort of see what comes up, just to find out, maybe what we need to know right now about the events going on around us in the world. Okay, so first question is obviously Iran. Are we going to go to war there? Is this going to happen? And let's see what we see. Hmm. I keep seeing the same thing, and there's like a missile, but it lands in the water. And it's almost like a threat missile. It doesn't hit anybody. And this could be very symbolic. It could just be that, Trump and Bolton are going to make these big threats, and they're not going to go anywhere. They will be threats, and, they definitely shouldn't be doing that. But they will not go anywhere. One thing that is really quite stupid is that Trump and Bolton are assuming that the world is going to back them and that America is going to want this war. Well, that's a mistake. This is definitely Iran's advantage. When they walk away from this, when we walk away from this, and I feel like we will, they'll be the ones that look like the victims. They will be the ones that look like they stood by principles. They didn't pull out of the nuclear agreement. We did. So I think that it's actually, it's going to solidify Tehran's power over the people. I mean, they really have put them in a position where they can tell people, hey, look what the United States is going to do if you don't support me. So it's kind of going to have an opposite effect, which will embolden Iran. Yeah, I see Bolton talking in front of the United Nations, and as he stands there, people are like almost going to sleep. They're not buying this story anymore. They didn't buy it the last time around. They're not buying it now. But a similar thing is happening in my vision with Trump, where he's actually out speaking to the soldiers and trying to get them rallied to do this. And they're kind of like, yeah, right. I think I'm going to sit down, and then they kind of doze off. So I think this is it's just, you can only blow that hard for a couple of years. And when nothing comes of it, eventually people start wondering. I mean, it's a total wag the dog situation. It's obviously a war they're trying to create to get America to stop looking at the Mueller report. And Congress seems even more prepared to revolt. He's doing things which are very provocative. It's making them really nervous. The Congress that I'm seeing are standing up and beginning to shout. Even conservatives are not at all comfortable with this scenario. Trump is going to try, but he will not succeed in this. He will try to provoke them. But actually, Iran has matured a little bit, and they know it's just a question of waiting if they get rid of him. Right now, again, this might be symbolic. There may be one missile that doesn't go anywhere that is just a threat. Yeah, and it will make the world nervous, but I don't believe that it will hit anything or start a war. Yeah, this is one that people on both sides will walk away from. They just won't fight. Yeah, like I'm seeing like drill sergeants, trying to get the troops to rally, and people going, nah, no way, not fighting that. Well, that's really spirit. Is there anything else? Any other message you have? I'm seeing Bolton in the United Nations, and he's just getting booed. Nobody cares what he thinks, And that's just kind of the end for him. We're really undermining America's prestige throughout the world when we have these fake, these imaginary wars that we go fighting, and people are less and less likely to believe in them. What else should we be concerned about? Again, Mueller's coming up, and I think that Mueller is, waiting to make his report to us directly. And there's a lot of calculating that's going on and figuring out and stuff like that. But that will be a very telling moment in American history. Barr is looking ashamed of himself. It seems like a direct attack on Barr. Creepy Stephen Miller. I think these kind of cruel policies of immigration, they are being exposed for what they are. Look, I mean, this is all kind of a waiting game, and I know American people are really, really nervous and upset, and sometimes it's worse waiting than when something's actually happening. At least there's something that you can talk about or address. This is one of those situations where nothing's happening, and it's kind of a good thing. Nothing's happening because these guys they've been screaming for years, and the screams are just less effective. Future generations will look at this. They're not going to be fooled. They're not going to be fooled by some internet meme that tells them to go protest at a rally. They're not going to be fooled by Russian propaganda in our country. They're too savvy for that. The next generation will be wiser for this experience. So just put this in a context and understand that there is a real purpose for what we're going through. It's very unpleasant. I don't want to say it's a good thing. We should not relish it, obviously. But we're going to have to confront these demons. We've got a few years before global warming really hits. This is practice. This is practice for those demons. It's actually a good thing that Donald Trump is so confusing and so good at his job. In a sense, other people might be more subtle, more discreet. We might not notice. In a sense, he's like a lightning rod. And now we can call it as we see it. Future people might just be going, don't be so Trumpy. And we'll know what they mean. And people will roll their eyes when they try to have these ridiculous arguments. And, it does serve a purpose, although it is very nerve-wracking. Just be clear in your mind about what is happening here socially. Try to take a little bit of a step back. Again, we are required to act. We can't. It's not the 70s where we just kick back and wait for the jobs to show up. This is a different time. We're being asked to defend our society, to defend our democracy, and we should keep doing that. But systems are in place already that will eventually evolve to the point where he will just become less and less heard. Trump will be less and less effective. It was mentioned before that somebody wanted to safely land the plane. I think it was Barr was going to safely land this plane, and that is the whole Trump experience. This plane is looking pretty wobbly right now. I think it will barely make it in terms of its landing. It will barely make it, but the people, maybe the plane catches on fire and people just barely make it out alive. I don't think that's the American people. I think that that's those around Trump, and he's just going to be known as that president who almost caused a disaster. I don't think it's going to look good for him. And one more thing, what about these tariffs, Chinese tariffs with China? Again, this is a really stupid move on Trump's part. China has no problem waiting. They could wait 1,000 years. That's not democracy. There's no reason for the chairman to leave. Even if the economy goes to heck, they're not going to do that. They have every reason to wait. This is a 3,000-year-old culture, maybe more. I mean, I don't know. But Trump's got 2 years to pull this around. So they have all the cards here. And Trump is going to be more and more desperate as the economy gets, slightly worse every day. As the deficit just goes through the roof, he's going to be more and more, he's not going to be very effective because he didn't do anything. He didn't, nothing has happened during his years that's good. Not one thing has happened that's good. And people will point to the economy. Well, if he tanks that, there's literally nothing to support Donald Trump. So I'm just getting the message, this is the decline that you're witnessing, not the increase. We have hit the point of ultimate danger. They're trying to throw out more danger with Iran, but people are not buying it. And it will be to his demise that he is such a poor negotiator, right? In the long run, this will help us to understand the nature of these, representatives of the dominant culture. We will understand them better, and we'll have a better idea how to fight them. And in a lot of senses, what's good about what's going on is it's getting people down to the basics of what really matters. Friendship, love, caring for your neighbor, also, self-created action, doing something, going out there and being effective. All these relationships are being underscored right now, and it's not all about money anymore or some trajectory of success. That's not what Americans are dealing with right now. They're dealing with more basic fundamental principles of right and wrong. And that's a good thing. Some people might argue it's about time we all took a look at this and evaluated ourselves in terms of these moral questions as opposed to just financial questions for ourselves. On that note, thanks for watching.